This is Scott Vanderplu, and you're listening to the Artist Edition Index Podcast, episode 90.
I went down to the St. James Infirmary, found my baby there, stretched out on a long white table, so sweet, so cold, so fast.
Wow, got to 90. It's a little bit more than 90 months because I think I skipped 2 months along the way. But every time I hit a milestone, basically every 10, I feel like, wow, I'm surprised it's still going. I'm thankful for the listeners, that's for sure. That's each and every one of you. I added the platform to YouTube, and I saw my numbers drop from regular podcast numbers, wherever the iTunes, that kind of place. But I've seen obviously the YouTube numbers come right up. So I don't know where I'm floating. I think I got about 180 regular listeners, and I guess that's not a huge amount of people, is it? But 180 people who want to hear about Artist Editions every month, to me, that's a win for sure. And I thank each and every one of you for listening again this month. No big topics circulating this month, other than I would say the Eisner Awards, that's for sure. It's interesting. I thought I had did I already talk about this? No. Weird. Oh, they're there. Okay. I think that's the big news this month. So we got the Will Eisner Award nominees were announced. Because of my writing at other sites, I'm still an Eisner voter. And 2 AE format books were nominated this year in 2 different categories. So, Best Archival Collection Project, Strips. We had David Wright's Carol Day and Lance Hallam, edited by Roger Clark, Chris Kalaki, and Guy Mills, Slingsby Bros. Inc. And then under Best Archival Collection Project Comic Books, we had Michael Golden's Marvel Stories Artist Edition, edited by Scott Dunbier, IDW. I did, in fact, from my Eisner voting, vote for both of these books. Best Archival Collection Project Strips was a tough call because Sunday Press put out Dauntless Dames, and that was a really great collection. But in the end, I realized that I just enjoyed Carol Day much more and thought it was more deserving of the award. So even though I can't get around their price and some of their editorial issues, it's a well-deserving book. And then Michael Golden, I don't know, would that have been the collection I would have nominated for 2023? Let's go to the master list on the website and go down to 2023 and see what was released. Judge Dredd by Mick McMahon, Apex Edition. Kevin Nolan's Marvel Heroes Artist Edition. David Wright's Carol Day, Lance Hallam. That's the strip, though. That got a donation. Michael Golden's Marvel Stories. Walter Simonson's Fantastic Four Artist Edition. And then the 2080 Art of Kevin O'Neill Apex Edition. That's a tough. I mean, Golden is definitely deserving to be nominated, but 2080 Art of Kevin O'Neill, I think, is equally deserving, but didn't get the nod. Do they consider that foreign because it's published in England? I don't know what their criteria is. All right, that's something interesting to delve into. When they do Best Archival Project, did they only deal with North American publishing? Or interesting. All right. Anyway, if you're an Eisner voter, pet peeve, only vote in categories you're completely familiar with. I voted in these categories because I actually know I know all the material in the categories. And I voted, I think, I voted in about 5 categories this year because I just don't know, best short story. I don't know best new graphic novel. I didn't read them all. And then, unfortunately, the Eisners, you'd think they'd give links to reviews or if somebody would review them or links to samples or something, but they don't. So you're sort of, if you don't know the material, you're left on your own to figure it out. So that's a bit disappointing as well. All right. That's the Eisners for this month. Pretty exciting. Congratulations to Slingsby Bros. Inc. and IDW and all the work involved with those 2 books by the editors mentioned. All right. Let's jump into, while we're here, let's go shipping changes. There's a lot. So Kevin Eastman's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the Layouts Artist Edition. I think I mentioned that it moved to October, December, and then it dropped off the PRH solicitations page, and it's back, though. It's back for February 25th. So we'll see what happens with that. Neil Adams slipped. DC Classics Artist Edition, they slipped to November 26th. Paul Smith's Uncanny X-Men slipped to November 12th. Jack Kirby's The Eternals Pencils and Inks Artist Edition slipped to November 5th. Savage Dragon Vault Edition, that's new. That's for September 17th. The 2080 artist Steve Dillon, that's slipped to August 28th from a June date. And those are the changes for this month. So pretty exciting. Interesting. For June, we've got a couple of things to look forward to. But nothing new. So we've got the Judge Dredd by Brian Bolland Masterpiece Edition, which is basically an artisan style, a book of the Judge Dredd book with additional pages. And then we have John Romita's Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2 Artisan Edition as well. So 2 of those books. And then we got the new material in July. Looking forward to a bunch of stuff in July, actually. That Chris Somney's Black Widow and of the Nancy Show, celebrating the art of Ernie Bushmiller. Those both look great. All right, that's it for shipping changes. I should talk... what should we talk? I guess I'll mention the deal alert I posted, which is sort of a tease because it ended yesterday. But that's how my podcast goes. I'm sure all of you listening are in my newsletter and get the new weekly news. So, Book Palace was offering David Wright's Carol Day Lance Hallam for half of their price, which is £150. Now that's a pretty sweet deal. Shipping to North America still hurt. I think it was about £50, so £200. I mean, it's a significant savings anyways. And it was interesting because the Slingsby Bros sent out a press release or an email saying, this is only from Book Palace. This is their decision. And then Book Palace says, with special permission from the publisher, So Slingsby Bros says it's to clear warehouse space. Book Palace says it's special permission from the publisher. I'm not sure which is the deal with that, though. So interesting. Anyways. So if you got that, congratulations, because, man, I sure wish I had got that, because by the time I received that and shipping from those 2 books, I was floating about 450, 500 Canadian. 450 for the first one, I think, about 500 Canadian for the second one. Some of the most expensive books I bought. As I say, I love them and hate them at the same time. So I'll continue to support the Slingsby Bros, though, in their endeavors in the original art showcase of David Wright's Carol Day. All right. Solicitations for this month. Everything solicited this month was via Diamond. Now, the caveats as always, right? Diamond, so... I'm trying to rename things on the website as I do. So I've always done, say, solicitation. Diamonds, June 2024 solicitations. Penguin Random House or IDW solicitations, and I generally, if I find a publisher soliciting something through their book distributor, PRH, I'm drawing a blank on some other, but if it's through a book distributor, then I say the publisher's name but then so say Diamond releases their catalog. Now I've renamed that. That's the post this month is Diamond June 2024 catalog, because that's actually what this is. It's not Diamond Solicitations, it's the catalog. At the same time, IDW releases their catalog, and there's frequently images in there. And what I do is I go back and update the solicitations with the images. Image had their catalog released with the Savage Dragon. I put up those images. That's why we've seen that before. So catalog pages, maybe some sample images. Maybe they give a little bit more information. Maybe it's more concise. I like to put that image up if it's available, and I make it available. So I've got to figure out, going forward, I still like the solicitations, but I may just say, Penguin Random House solicitations or... Simon & Schuster solicitations. Got to still working on that. And then we've got the catalogs, right? So then then it would just be one day full of catalogs. It's the last Friday of the month is basically all the catalogs. So am I posting solicitations too many times? It seems like people are rabid for solicitations on the site. So maybe it's not too many times, but I've still got to work it and figure out what I'm doing in that sense. All right. Diamond June 2024 catalog. There's nothing new here, but let's go through it again. David Mazzucchelli's Batman Year One Artist Edition. maybe the biggest book of the year? I'm going to say it is. It's the book I'm most anticipating. Amazing. Currently sitting at August 14th ship date from Diamond, August 13th from PRH. Available from all your regular spots. I'm putting links for Amazon, Things from Another World, and Walt's Comic Shop. I will also do Forbidden Planet if I have it. We seem to have a lot of I seem to have a lot of European readers, so I'm very thankful for that. And so I like to make as many solicitation options as many purchase options as possible. I also like to use purchase options that will net me something. I mean, it's nature of the beast there. So nothing new there. Jack Kirby Eternals, Pencils and Inks Artisan Edition. That's been solicited, of course, with that new date. And then we got Jim Lee DC Legends. Now, Artist Edition, interestingly, Jim Lee DC Legends, one in the catalog, the cover image is different. The image everywhere else is the same image. It's the exact same old cover, except they changed Artifact Edition to Artist Edition. This image in the catalog has got a different coloring, so I'm expecting that to be updated at some point soon. Much like the Paul Smith's X-Men Artist Edition, the cover image was updated slightly. They added some powder blue to it. It's a nice look. And then we have the Savage Dragon Vault Edition Volume 1, which again, we'd previously seen from Simon & Schuster. So 4 items in the Diamond catalog. So now that should be every comic shop imaginable, online or physical, should be able to put these in order in for you. So exciting. And again, I want to mention Diamond and then PRH, Simon & Schuster, 2 different book distributors, and then the comic distributor are having different dates for things. So this month we're seeing a lot of different dates. I guess we'll see as the book gets closer who's right. I'm going to say the primary distributors are right, i.e. PRH and Simon & Schuster, and not Diamond. So previously I've seen the Diamond date adjust and line up with whatever changes PRH or Simon & Schuster had. So Simon & Schuster is fairly new. I'm going to say it 18,000 times in the podcast. But they're fairly new to this as well. For me, distributing Image, I think I mentioned I'm a partner in a comic store. And PRH is new to me as well. They, as far as dealing with, they've been pretty great though. Their discount level, and they have a great discount level, and they have free shipping for retailers. So fortunately, they won't drop ship. I've been trying to figure out a way to work Artist Editions more for people, for my customers, for people who listen to this podcast or enjoy the website and are Canadian and would like a book to, somebody who can ship them. And I just, unfortunately, they don't do drop ship. So I still can't get a decent discount going where I can say, hey, order through me. I've got the best price. Because unfortunately, I just can't get the best price at this point. It's still going to be U.S., large U.S. online comic shops getting the best price. All right, those are the solicitations for this month. Pretty exciting. So I started something up again, and I hope everybody appreciates it, and that's new releases. So in the past, I'd tried this, and I do a new releases post on the Wednesday when the book came out. And then by the Friday, I'd have the book and I'd be reviewing it. And I think, well, I just wasted, what was the point of that, posting this? Hey, everybody, this is new, when it hasn't, and then I've got the review right away. It just felt wasteful. But then I realized how many people miss that a book is, first off, even though I do all these solicitation posts, people still miss it. And then when I do a new release, maybe they'll catch it. Maybe they'll be aware that book is now available. I was a little bit late on the week of this one, and I was doing the EC Covers Artisan Edition, but I will, on the week of the release, so on the Monday from now on, that the book is being released, I'll do a new releases post, give people a little bit of notice that the book is being released, and then they can order that up, and that should be good. We'll see how it goes. I had done it before, but I couldn't find it on the website. I don't know if I had done it on here, or maybe I'd done it on the old, where the Artist Edition Index first appeared on Comic Book Daily. Don't know. Anyway, so expect those to come up. All right, let's do the poll this month. This seemed to be galvanizing, this poll. First off, apologies again. I use this plugin Forminator and the poll function, and it worked wonderfully for years and years. No problems. And then the last couple months, I had a setting where it tracked by your IP address. If it already registered your IP address as having voted, it wouldn't let you vote again. It just showed you the results. And for some reason, that has stopped working. I don't quite understand why. Are people randomizing? I'm not randomizing my IP address, and I checked, and my static IP for my ISP had not changed, and it was still not detecting that I'd already voted. So I actually changed that from IP address to cookie. So we'll see. Hopefully, everybody is accepting the cookie notice on the website when you've got to accept it when you click OK, and then the voting should continue on that way. So apologies there. So it's interesting. We have a tie for first place. Let me give you the blurb here. It's from our good Patreon patron friend of the site, David Jacoy. And he provided Wolverine. This fan favorite character has only had one AE format book, and that was Frank Cho's Savage Wolverine Artist Edition. With Wolverine returning to the silver screen in the next Deadpool movie, it's time to examine some amazing artists who have worked on the Canadians' X-Men stories. Who among them deserves a Wolverine-themed AE book? Number 1, John Buscema, 62 votes. Frank Miller, tying with that. Alphabetical, I'm going. 62 votes. Mark Silvestri, 45 votes. Mark Texeira? 9 votes. Al Milgram, 1 vote. It was interesting, the forums mentioned 2 things. Why didn't I put Barry Windsor Smith on here for Weapon X? And I said, for the obvious reason, it would just get all the votes. And why is Al Milgram on here? It's the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine miniseries. So there you go. I picked Frank Miller. I would still love to see a Frank Miller. I mean, yes, Joe Rubenstein. Was it Rubenstein? Inking wasn't my favorite, but I love the miniseries. No question. So I'd love to see that artwork. And of course, Barry Windsor Smith. Excuse me. Suppressing a yawn there. Poorly suppressed. I mean, Barry Windsor Smith, Weapon X. Come on. I mean, who doesn't want that? It's crazy. All right. Crazy. Speaking of crazy, I have 14 titles on the upcoming books list on the AE Index proper. That is AE Format Books Index page. That is crazy. I can't even remember last time we had this many books. And that's with 1, 2, 3, 5 books already released this year. Like, come on. What a banner 2024 we're having. Again, a bit of a reminder. John Romita's Amazing Spider-Man Daily Strips Artist Edition shipped January 9th. January 24th, we got the 2080 art of Mick McMahon. January 31st, we got Bill Ward, the Fantagraphics Studio Edition. March 1st, we got David Wright's Carol Day, Jack Slingsby. April 30th, we got Pretty Deadly, the Shrike Vault Edition. Which reminds me, I got to edit this list here and put the link to that. Because that was reviewed this month. But we're going to get to that in a minute. I mean, this is amazing. We got 5 books. Right, we got 14 in the pipe and 19 books. And who knows if something else will be come out this year as well. I mean, it's just amazing. What a year to be an AE Index reader, first of all. Everybody should be an AE Index reader. But what a year to be an AE format fan, eh? Crazy. All right, let's talk out of print sales. Again, I'm just going to do the highlights. Going over the whole list seemed like a lot of work. I'm not sure, and I talk fast. And does anybody really pay attention? Let's talk record setters first. I think everybody likes the record setters, right? Gene Colan's Tomb of Dracula Artist Edition set a new record for paid $629 US. Yowzers. That's amazing. Another record, Michael Golden's Micronauts Artist Edition, signed $599.99. New price. Boom. One more record, Spawn Vault Edition, the original, $599.99. These prices, man alive. And then I don't know. Then we got these other records here that from 2021, 2022. I think the highest records are still 2021. Just some insane pricing that I don't think we'll see again. All right, let's talk. Let's see what some of the highlights are. I am getting a crazy amount of hits on the site for Alien: The Illustrated Story, the original art edition. I mean, way more hits than it should be. So, unfortunately, it appears to be coming from Google searches. So I'm guessing the book was mentioned somewhere on social media, somewhere on the internets, and the people then were searching it because my hits, my referrer, it just says that it's coming from Google. So something's happening. But 2 of those sold, an average of 190. What else is that? Oh, man. Batman The Dark Knight Returns Frank Miller Gallery Edition. 2 copies, average sold $110.83. It's back down to its low pricing. 1 copy of the Bernie Wrightson Artifact Edition second print sold for $250. That book is staying up there. Conan Red Nails continues to do well. 3 copies sold for an average of $219. Dave Cockrum, two copies sold, averaging $144.99. So a little undercover. And that book's getting an artist edition soon. So we'll see if that makes any change to that. Dave Stevens' The Rocketeer artist edition first print. A copy sold for $123.20. And a second printing sold for $88. I think this could be record lows for this book. Crazy. As well, David Mazzucchelli's Daredevil Born Again artist edition. 2 copies sold for an average of $194.19. That is really low for that book. What is what there? That's all I can say to that. Gene Colan, of course, 3 books sold, an average of $549.33. I mean, it was boosted by the record sale, but still, that's a lot of numbers there. Whew. What else was big? Jack Kirby, The Forever People artist edition, $63. That's a record low. Mighty Thor sold for $99.99. That's a low. Jim Lee, DC Legends Artifact Edition. 2 copies sold for an average of $125. That's getting an artist edition soon. We'll see if that changes the price. Oh, what else? 2 copies of Joe Kubert's Tarzan Alignment artist edition sold for an average of $278.25. It's a little bit down from where that book's been. It's a tough book to find. I wonder what the print run was that. If only publishers weren't so secretive with their print run information. IDW, print run information, IDW. 3 copies of John Byrne's The Amazing Spider-Man Artist Edition Volume 2, averaging $176.33. That's a bump for sure for that book. I just saw some guy trying to sell the Artifact Edition on Facebook for $350. I mean, God, I don't know what he's thinking. All right, 2 copies of Marvel Covers Artist Edition, averaging $257.33. That's a real bump for that book. And then 1 copy of the second print with the fabulous Stranko Hulk cover, $73. So big drop there. Michael Golden's Micronauts Artist Edition, regular old cover, $265. Mike Mignola's Hellboy in Hell, first print. 2 copies sold, averaging $269.48. And then no copies of the second print. That's up there too. And then Mike Mignola's The Amazing Screw-On Head and Other Curious Objects. 2 copies averaging $213.73. I don't know how long I had a copy sitting on the store there. I think I eventually sold it for $100 because I just could not move that book. 4 copies of RoboCop versus the Terminator Gallery Edition sold for an average of $183.50. I've seen this book pop up. This seems to be much more popular suddenly. It was the first Dark Horse Gallery edition. I've got an article coming up next month. Yeah, so this is June. July is the 10th anniversary of IDW, of Dark Horse getting in the Gallery Edition game. I'm going to have a little post up there. I contacted their PR people, and somebody got back to me. So nice. I will discuss that person in the article. I asked a bunch of questions. They went to the editors to see if they get the answers for me. So I really appreciated that. That was great. So I just want to do a little 10th anniversary of that, because really they had that initial run 2014, 2015. Then they had 2018, and they had nothing. And I think we all just keep our fingers crossed and hope Dark Horse will have future gallery editions. I mean, if anything, please, how about a Richard Corbin? Come on. Speaking of Richard Corbin, I hope everyone saw the amazing review of that Den book from Delirium. And then also saw my post that Den 2 Mavovum is being released as another French artist edition. And that campaign is ending in 3 days, I think. I think it's June 4th. This is your last chance to get in on that. I mean, please. This gorgeous book is amazing. Don't let that pass you by. Sam Keith's The Max. 1 copy, $429.99. This book this was the only artist edition. Regular old, 1 cover, nothing else, with a signature plate. Every copy. Amazing. Stranko Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. first print. 2 copies sold for an average of $110. 2 copies of second print sold for an average of $199. I guess people really like that other cover better. It's the same cover with slightly different coloring. That I don't get. All right. The Prisoner Original Art Edition. This thing goes up and down like a yo-yo. Or more like a carousel, possibly. 2 copies averaging $137.75. 1 copy of Usagi Jimbo Samurai and Other Stories, $205. Deals, bargains to be had. That book is really hard to come by. I mean, it's not as hard to come by as The Artist and Other Stories Gallery Edition, but it's very difficult to get. So if you find a copy of that in the wild, that is amazing. 1 copy of Will Eisner's A Contract with God Curators Collection, $225. Another tough book to come across. And Will Eisner's The Spirit Artist Edition, Volume 2, 1 copy, $219.99. Again, those Will Eisner Spirit books, as I say every month, some of the best AE format books out there. Don't let those pass you by. If you don't have those in your collection, track those down. Even if you're not a fan of Golden Age, not a fan of anything, if you've just got to love comics to want to get those volumes. Or pick up the Artisan Edition. It's a best of. Give you a taste. But I mean, once you see Eisner's work at that 8x12 size, you want to see it at 15x22. Make no mistake. All right, that's out of print sales. Mail for this month. Interesting. I contacted a couple of French publishers trying to get some more information. There's a book that's being released to the French. Oh, this is tough. It's an English book being released by a French publisher in French, obviously. And then one store in Paris, it has a special original art version of that book. So I'm still trying to track that down. You may see a solicitations post for that soon. I'm still trying to get all the info. I do plan on ordering 5 copies. Again, 1 copy for me and 4 for the store. So I'm just going to give you a hint. If you're a fan of Sean Gordon Murphy and you want to get his latest work in an AE format book at about 8x12 size, you're going to want to pay attention to that. What else was the news that came to me via the emails? I was tipped off about the Eisners. Thanks for that. Got on that. That was good. Delirium, already talked about that. That's amazing. Please, everybody, get on that. I ordered some new books from a publisher new to me. We've had some back and forths. Bit of a... because in France, they charge 4% VAT, value-added tax, on books. But if you're out of the country, they're not supposed to charge the VAT. So frequently, I've had a couple scenarios. Sometimes people's web sales portal platform already recognizes that I'm out of Europe and they take the VAT off. Sometimes the owner of the site has to create a special account for me that discounts 4%. And in this case, I was charged the VAT, and I said, hey, how do you handle the VAT refund? And they said, oh, we don't. You're supposed to be charged the VAT. And then they got back to me very quickly and very politely and said, oh, it's our mistake. We're not supposed to charge the VAT. And then we're just working on how I can get that back now. So I appreciate that, which is nice. Also, I may have a line from a Canadian reseller on some Usagi Yojimbo Gallery editions. Right now, I don't think it's promising. It showed in their web store. I ordered them with the full expectation that they're going to come back to me and say, I mean, let's face it, these books are from long ago and long out of print, right? So I think it's a mistake, but maybe this is just sitting in their warehouse, and I'll see. And if that's the case, I may have some for the store coming up soon. All right, that's about it for the emails. Nobody reached out with any questions. And again, if you have any questions, scott@aeindex.org. I love these books. I keep all these books. That's what I have them for, so that you can ask me questions. All right, moving on to the 2 reviews this month. I guess before I do that, I should give you the blurb, the spiel, the usual 3 ways to support the website. And please take advantage of one or all. Easiest way to support the website. I have order online links on the website. I'm looking at my first review here. I have links for Amazon, Things from Another World, Forbidden Planet, Walt's Comic Shop. Either I get a commission from these by you clicking these links, or they're already directly just supporting the website by placing ad links or banner ads in the case of Walt's Comic Shop. Forbidden Planet, Things from Another World, and Amazon are all affiliate links where I get a percentage of the purchase. Easiest way to support the site. You're buying anyways. Click on a link that I provide. You're reading about the stations from me anyways. You might as well just go that route. Number 2, become a Patreon patron. $1, whatever, or your local currency or more, whatever you'd like to sponsor me every month. It's greatly appreciated. That just goes to me minus, I think I pay about a 20% handling fee to Patreon and their money person. So I pay some to Patreon for the platform, and then I pay some to whatever company Patreon uses to get the money out of your bank account or your credit card. Third way to support the site is and again, another one, this is the most direct and actually requires the most work from you, is to go to my store link, aindex.org/store, and buy a book from me. Generally, I've got these from somewhere. I don't know where. Sometimes it was a mistake, and I'm just trying to get my money back. And other times, I've taken advantage of a deal. The upcoming Conan books, I ordered 5 of those to bring in. The upcoming Extremity book from Skybound, I've ordered a bunch of those to come in. As I mentioned earlier, maybe this new book from France, I'm going to get 5 of those. So that kind of thing. Those go in the store. Otherwise, I just maybe I'll find a local copy here or there. Right now I've got Jeff Smith's Bone, the Great Cow Race Artist Edition up there. That's my copy because I was able to find a slipcased copy through a group for a very inexpensive price. And if possible, I'll upgrade to the slipcase version. Absolutely. If it's a deal. All right. So that's the 3 ways. So if you do any of those things, greatly appreciated. And you may ask yourself, what does this man do with this monies that I provide to him? I buy more books. You probably noticed that I get French books on here. I get other things. When the market dropped and we went from 15, 17, 19 AE format books a year to 4, then I went on to foreign books. I went on to French volumes, things like that. This year I got my first Japanese volume. So that's where the money goes. Keeps the site going, keeps me in books. That's it. It's really, it doesn't go beyond that. I'd love for it to stretch a little further, and I'm thankful for what I get, absolutely, because it has increased. But that's all there is. Another way to support the site as well, and you're supporting yourself too. The YouTube channel is going pretty well. I think I'd like to hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm at 636, I think. So, 2/3 there, almost. Love to get there. I guess really 63.6%. I'm the way there. Love to get to 1,000. I do flip through videos. I do this podcast goes up there. When I've done a flip through of every book, I'm going to go back and do 5 things about a book. That may be, that's not all positive, but 5 things about the book, and then those will be short videos again. 5 minutes. I just want to catch your attention on a book. I want to point out a few things that I think is great or amazing or terrible. And just get focused back on these AE format books. All right. That's it. 2 reviews this month. I'm going to talk about the first one. She, Way of the Warrior, #1 original art edition. I poo-pooed this book last month saying, it's delayed, blah, 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 in the podcast. And then the week after it came out. So, bam. Egg in my face, but that's okay. Let me give you the blurb. The groundbreaking masterwork that literally changed the face of comics. That's a lie. And launched the Bad Girl Revolution. Really? Returns in this premium formatted 112-page hardcover edition featuring the story of She, never before published, remastered original artwork and files from the book that started it all. 1994, She, Way of the Warrior, #1. This was released by Crusade Entertainment, May 8th, 2024. It's 8x12, 114 pages. It's a hardcover. It was $64.99 US. Ordered from many of the places. I got this because it features original comic art, and I feel like that's my jam, as the expression goes. I actually don't like that expression. That's just a shout out to David Harper and his Eisner nominee for Sketched, which is well deserved. Anyway, I hated this book. I don't know how else to say it. I try and stay positive on the review, and you're taught that if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So. If I'm giving you just the facts, ma'am, version of a book, this is the just the facts as I can in a review. I just stated the bare facts. I guess I was never a fan of the artwork, so that was my first problem. I knew I wasn't going to love it, but then I can appreciate the artwork. That's the difference. There's been many artist editions that I am not a big fan of. Herb Trimpe, Ross Andrew. I'm not a fan of these people, but when you look at their raw art, and there's something that appeals there. This, I couldn't get into it, and I think I can sum it up in one thing: poor production choices. This paper is horrible. It's thin, it's glossy, it's terrible. And then this was funded by a Kickstarter and then an Indiegogo. And I mean, so that's what I don't like. But then, what is to like is definitely, I like the way they do it, where they show the inked pages on the left and then the colored pages on the right. It's great to look at those inked pages. There's no lettering on it, so I guess they were doing the colored pages on acetate and then attaching the lettering to that for printing. I don't know. We'll have to see. Interesting. But yeah, it was a nice appreciation of the original art this way. It's funny when you see a book like this. This is from Billy Tucci, for his fans, right? You got to be a diehard fan for this, I think. And I think that's really who he's appealing to. I just sort of stumbled my way into it, and I probably shouldn't have, because this really, as I say, it's not for me. And it's galvanized me that just because a book has original art in it doesn't mean I need to buy it. Doesn't mean that I need to review it. If it's an AE format book through a major distributor, which is what I said, that's what classifies you as being part of the Dunbier Awards, then I'm definitely going to buy it, and I will review it, and we'll see how it goes. But if every book with this original art, I just can't keep it going. I've got stacks of books here that I have not reviewed yet, because this is the sort of the format I was following, and it's actually with 19 AE format books out this year. And there's more than that, because I'm not counting all the the artisan editions and things like that. So that many books out this year, the budget only goes so far, and I probably should not have got this book. Let me just say that. It's interesting. That's it. No, thank you. Out. The other review this month. Wow, Pretty Deadly Volume 1, the Shrike Vault Edition. Let me give you the blurb. In celebration of the 10th anniversary of Pretty Deadly, Emma Rios has opened her personal vault and is sharing the first 5 issues of Pretty Deadly in their original detailed artboard scale, collecting the opening arc of the surprise hit series that marries the magical realism of Sandman with the western brutality of Preacher. Death's daughter rides the wind on a horse made of smoke, and her face bears the skull marks of her father. Her origin story is a tale of retribution, as beautifully lush as it is unflinchingly savage. I love that description, original detailed artboard scale. Because, how do we describe an AE format book, right? That's another way to do it. This was released by Image April 24th. It's 12 1/4 by 17 1/4, 152 pages. It's a hardcover. It's $125 US. So I want to say, first off, congratulations on that price point. It's a great book. I had some questions about the book, and I contacted Image Public Relations. And as is the case of any time I've ever contacted Image Public Relations, and I hate to say things like this, you don't want to say these sweeping statements, but they've never got back to me on anything. So again, it sort of fell nowhere, and I really wanted, and thankfully I did the review, and I said in the review at the bottom of the review, I said, I tried to get a hold of the editor and the artist. Emma Rios is online. But unfortunately, you can't hit her up with a direct message anywhere I could find. So I posted the thing. I had some questions, and Emma Rios was very kind, and she retweeted my review and gave me her email address and answered my question. And this came up, the book, because we want to do something special for the anniversary, and the materials are easy to find. I don't sell original art from my creator-owned books. The ones I didn't have at home were at Kelly Sue's. A few of them are dedicated in the margin, which I appreciate as well, because I have some pictures of some pages with dedications, but I couldn't actually figure out what it said. So that was nice. That apparently it's dedicated from Emma Rios to Kelly Sue McCormick. So this book is awesome. Again, it's a modern book, so there's no inking. There's no inking. There's no lettering on the boards. It's just straight boards, and it's very black and white. I like the design. Almost like a turn of the 20th century sort of marquee art that you'd see around text and silent pictures. I really like that look. And then the artwork just presents so beautifully. This art is really stunning. And it just shows so well. And this book shows so well as just a very good production values. I'd love to know actually more about its actual production, but I also don't want to push. This is the third AE format book from Image. We had two from Todd McFarlane's, Spawn Vault 1 and 2. And then we have this book. And next up we'll have, I don't know if we're going to, I guess we're Skybound and Extremity is part of Image. So I don't know if we'll see that first or the Savage Dragon. And then we're going to see, so that's the other thing I didn't mention. The Greg Capullo Spawn Vault edition that was listed for November has been removed from Penguin Random House. And I removed it from my association. So I think we'll just see it later, but I think they just realized maybe that was too far out, or they're going to need more time for that. Like this book was scheduled. It was solicited, then it was scheduled for 2 months after that. I think so. I think it was solicited in August and scheduled for October, and then they realized they can't actually get that book done that quickly. Then the date was changed to April, and they met that date, so that was good. A lot of blue pencil. The inks look gorgeous on this. It's overall, again, it's very hard to, discuss a visual medium like art on the podcast. And what I can say is it's an amazing book. It's a good value point. It's the complete story. And go to aindex.org and read the review. Don't just listen to me babble about it. Some great extras. It's interesting. The covers are double page. Every cover is double page. I guess was front and back, right? So there's chapter breaks for each issue, but then we get all the covers at the back, which present again very nicely. And then we get some extras, which the extras are great. Some preliminaries, some character designs, and then there's a double page spread of just sound effects, which is really great to see. Because the artists did do their own sound effects and they were drawn and then put on with the text. So wonderful. That's it for this month. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you've been somewhat entertained, some value brought to you through this. Oh my goodness, 40 some minutes. All right. Everything we discussed can be found at aindex.org. So subscribe to the newsletter, get the info, follow us on social media, Facebook, X/Twitter, and Threads. That's where I'm on. But really, just based on my demographic, you still use email. Sign up for the email. All right. Thank you, and we'll talk to you next month.
Let her go, God bless her. Wherever she may be, she can search this wide world over. She'll never find a sweet man like me.